There was a plan all along, and we could truly know that all of this suffering was worth all of the rejoicing to come. So many songs and hymns that declare what is to come. Crown him with many crowns. Rejoice, the Lord is King. I gave my life for thee, my precious blood I shed. Jesus, keep me near the cross. Once I am near the cross, I shall be with him near the throne. And even not I, but Christ. Because I am only capable of bringing sadness to his heart. But I can bring gladness here. I can live the abundant life here. I can have victory here. What a balm for the weary. Oh, how sweet to be there. Sweet friends. Oh, just to paint that picture, it's not just by what we read, but also by how we communicate with God. That he can more and more entrust with us visions of what it would be like to be there. We have the blessed opportunity to talk to God, our Father in heaven, through prayer. The weary, how sweet to be there. So the question is asked for those who may have been taught only to focus on the blessings and the wonderful things that would come to the Christian and all of the things that we shall enjoy. Yes, that is good. But if it is left out, the cross that we have to bear, the persecution that we have to go through, in which many have been discouraged on their Christian walk, it would leave an undeveloped or an unfinished picture in the minds of those who desire to follow after this way. So the question is asked. Leave this to the devotional. Lift him up. Lift him up. Page 230. What is Christianity is the question that is asked. It is God's instrumentality for the conversion of the sinner. Jesus will call to account everyone who is not brought under his control, who does not demonstrate in his life the influence of the cross of Calvary. If it made an influence on you, if you have seen the scenes, if you have read Matthew chapter 27, if you had considered consciously what someone would have went through for you, for me, we must bear that influence in our lives, that it did something for us. Christ should be uplifted by those whom he has redeemed. These are they, redeemed by the blood of the Lamb, who have washed their robes, the blood of the Lamb, by dying on the cross a death of shame. He who has felt the power of the grace of Christ has a story, a testimony to tell. He seeks to put in operation methods of work which will diffuse the gospel. Humanity, drawing its efficiency from the great source of wisdom, is made the instrumentality, the working agency through which the gospel exercises its transforming power on mind and heart. What a blessed opportunity that we can be used as a tool from God to be able to spread his message to those who do not know. So to the faithful Christian, yes, there is suffering, but there is also rejoicing. So to the faithful Christian, there is a crown as you endure to the end. So before the Christian can receive their crown, we would emphasize again, you must take up your cross and follow Jesus each and every day. And we can encourage each other to hold on, be strong, persevere, because we know that all of this is not done in vain. So let us now rejoice as we read about the crown and the aspects of this crown. And 5 aspects we would read about it, of what we would be receiving. So first, let us read about the imperishable crown. The crown that would not perish, even though the things that we gather and we store up on this earth, we are told moth and rust would corrupt and destroy it, and it would perish away. But this crown would not perish. So let's read this first aspect in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24 and 25. Oh, look at the timely song. Jesus, keep me near the cross. First Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24 and 25. Right. Verse 24 and 25. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. So this is a crown that would not perish. All things on this earth are subject to decay and will perish. Jesus urges us to not store our treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal. Matthew 6 verse 19. So even though you try your best to keep it in good condition, you always would have the fear. We're going to talk about that fear in our next podcast. You would always have the fear that someone is coming to steal what you have stored up and laid up. But not so with the heavenly crown. Faithful endurance wins a heavenly reward, which is an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that does not fade away, reserved in heaven for you. 1 Peter 1, 3-5. 1 Peter 1, 3-5. The next, the crown of rejoicing. So the first, the imperishable crown. The next, the crown of rejoicing. 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 19. For what is our hope or joy or crown of rejoicing? Is it not even you in the presence of our Lord Jesus Christ at his coming? The Apostle Paul tells us in Philippians 4:4 to rejoice always in the Lord, for all the bountiful blessings our gracious God has showered upon us. So to the one who is to receive their crown, rejoice always. And again, I say rejoice. No matter what happens, life is beautiful because you have and serve a God who is the author of all beauty. Just look outside to get a perfect example, to be without excuse that we have a lot to rejoice for. So the crown of rejoicing. As Christians, we have more in this life to rejoice about than anyone else. Luke tells us there is rejoicing even now in heaven. Luke 15, verse 7. The crown of rejoicing will be our reward, where God will wipe away every tear, and there shall be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away. That is so much to rejoice for. Some of us may be considering and saying, well, we're still living in this time where we're in the present things, and our minds cannot comprehend that these things would be former things, because this is what all we know. But take it by faith that all of these things shall one day be former, that we shall remember it no more, because we would be too busy rejoicing with the heavenly hosts. Next, the crown of righteousness. The crown of righteousness, 2 Timothy 4, verse 6 to 8. 2 Timothy 4, verse 6 to 8. Second Timothy 4, verse 6 to 8. Endure, my friends. Verse 6, it says, for I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day. And not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing. Friends. Oh, friends of the Apostle Paul, it could truly be said that he went through much in bearing that cross, beaten, shipwrecked, persecuted, as one who was the chief of persecutors of the church. But oh, how God made a great change in his life, that he became such a prominent voice for Christianity, the instrumentality of the conversion of the sinner, like you, like me. So we inherit this crown through the righteousness of Christ, which is what gives us a right to it, and without which it cannot be obtained. Because it is obtained and possessed in a righteous way, and not by force and deceit, as earthly crowns sometimes are, it is an everlasting crown, promised to all who love the Lord and eagerly wait for his return. Through our enduring the discouragements, persecutions, sufferings, or even death, we know assuredly our reward is with Christ in eternity. Our conversation is in heaven, Philippians 3, verse 20 and 21. This crown is not for those who depend upon their own sense of righteousness or of their own works. Such an attitude breeds only arrogance and pride, not a longing, a fervent desire to be with the Lord. So this crown, this aspect of the crown, is not for those who depend upon their own sense of righteousness or their works, but on the righteousness of Christ accomplished for us. We will be redeemed, friends. We're all a part of God's redemption plan. Redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed. How I love to proclaim it, His child, and forever I am. The next, the crown of glory. The crown of glory. I believe we read this verse in our last podcast. 1 Peter 5:4. And when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the crown of glory that does not fade away. Though Peter is addressing the elders, we must